Bam. Hello. Welcome to Houston with a Problem. It's a Friday. It's a Friday day. Whoa. Houston's doing a show daytime Friday. Crazy. The Musk fans are really upset because Elon Musk chose a lady who's on the board at the World Economic Forum to run Twitter. So they're currently losing their minds. As if a billionaire doesn't know anybody at WEF. Top, that Chinese IPO from, was it last week? That went crazy high from $6 to $200. Went from $200 down to today. And apparently the SEC is reversing all of the trades that happened today. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? I wrote this like an hour ago and I already forgot. Oh yeah, markets just decided to go deep red today after being really high. I mean, it's just bipolar. It's just absolutely like, woo, nothing can go wrong. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Sell everything. And it's just a daily occurrence at this point. So there you go. Pulte, if you guys know who Pulte is, he's the scion of a giant construction magnate in the South. He got on board with GameStop not too long ago and it appears to be part of a triumvirate of ICANN, Cohen, and himself for Bed Bath & Beyond. It's been rumored, and he made a post today, Empire Shorts Back, or whatever it was, Shorts Strike Back, or whatever, poster with him and ICANN and Cohen. Just interesting. Interesting indeed. Boink. Okay. Off. Everything's off. Off. Okay. Sounds. I just checked some sounds on. No one's yelling at me. The sound is not there. We're good. We're solid. We made it 2 minutes into the show so far. Haven't screwed up. Amazingly so. So I was laying in bed last night, having myself a think. And I may have to bring up the, let's see here. Let's draw you guys a picture, right? Put that over there. Go like that. Put it there, and bam. Did I do it? What in the world? Why is paint not showing up? Yeah, there we go. Okay, got it. All right, so we know that there is an absolute boatload of shares that have been reported to be owned by Bed Bath & Beyond. So it should be like 450 million. I don't know the exact numbers, but you know, that's how many shares should be owned. 450 million. Let's see if we can boink, boink, boink. Okay. And back to brush. And what is owned is like 780 million. All right, so boom, boom. Okay. Now, for the current price today, it was like 16 cents a share. So I have to bring up calculator to join us here. Calculator, join us, calculator. So if you wanted to buy all 780 million shares, right? 780 million times 0.16. This is just we're ignoring market factors. We're ignoring everything. Shorts will probably gladly print you some to keep the price down and so on. You're gonna spend $124 million to buy the entire company plus all of the extra shares that are out there, right? So, whoops. Oh, calculator's behind paint. Bam, there we go. So $124 million, that's assuming the price doesn't budge at all, that they haven't bought it some already. If you want to buy all 780 million shares the DTCC appears to have on their books, that's how much money you're going to spend doing it. Okay. All right. Now, well, I didn't mean to do that. No, there we go. So let's say you buy up a cajillion, million, billion, trillion shares, and you register. You have like the 10-day period before you have to announce that you bought all these shares. You buy up more than 100% of the float, and you register like 90% of the float, or 90% of all the authorized shares. You register like 90% of them, send to AST, whatever, and you then announce, hey, we bought a bunch of the company. We would like to buy it all out and turn it private. And our buyout price is going to be $10,000 a share. Will the remaining shareholders vote to approve this? Everyone go, oh yeah. Okay. So you register like 90% of what is actually authorized. So you're assuming there is this chunk out there that's left, right? So you're like, hey, we registered 410 million shares or whatever. Okay. You then announce, hey, we're going to do a buyout price of $10,000 a share. But you actually own all of this, right? So shareholders agree because you are the shareholders, which means you don't actually fork over any money to buy the company. The shorts must pay you $10,000 a share to clear out all this crap. Anything that's excess, they have to pay you to close their positions because the company is going private. And there's a buyout price at $10,000 a share. So you spent $124 million buying up the entire company. You've got 300 million shares left, 330 million shares left. I got to click back, turn you off, go back to the calculator. So you have 300, clear, 300. Whoops, I can't fucking type anything. 300, 30, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 million shares at $10,000 a share. Oops. And you just broke the shorts for $3 trillion. So, you can set $100 a share, say anything that's above whatever the price is that they shorted at, and you can wipe out every single short in existence. All in the process of getting them to pay you to buy this company. You can clear out any debt that gets left after the Chapter 11 reorganization. And you got plenty of cash left over. You can give to your buddies. You give out as dividends. If you can then make the company, go and have another IPO later, whatever. So, I was just thinking that it'd be kind of hilarious to do that, right? Wouldn't it be? Get them to buy the company for you, essentially. And these dudes, $124 million is a drop in the bucket. They can raise that capital today if they wanted to. So they could easily buy out the entire company at market as a hostile takeover. But why would they want to when they could announce a sale price after buying up a huge portion of the company, hostile-wise, and forcing the shorts to close all those positions at whatever price they name? It'd be like if Elon made the $54.20 bid. If he had gone like hostile takeover route and bought up 90% of Twitter and then announced he's going to buy it for $1,000 a share, he would have had the shorts essentially pay him because the company was 20% short, 15% short, something like that. So he could have had the shorts pay him to take over Twitter. I'm sure there's reporting obligations in there, but at the same time, if you do it fast enough, you can miss those reporting dates and technically squeeze under the wire. I don't know. Something to ponder in my head. And of course, I'm getting the error that not enough receiving video maintains smooth streaming. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, internet. All right. What we got? Leo B, thank you. I still owe you a poster. I still can't figure out how to... They said I could send myself samples, and I don't know how to do that. And I owe you a poster. Oh, shit. I still haven't done the raffle. Oh, my gosh. I still have the raffle sheet from the last Charity Tuesday for a puzzle, and I haven't done that one yet. Okay. First thing this weekend. Thank you for becoming a problem solver, Leo B. Josh Pet Pals, happy birthday, Houston. I'm here. You're welcome. Thank you. All's right with the world now. Okay. Where am I? Houston, happy birthday. I'm visiting home, and I have a question from my Irish mammy. Have you ever visited Ireland? If so, where? If not, when? She's now a fan and will put you up for a few nights. Oh, heck. I'd love to go to Ireland. I was supposed to go years ago. My best friend from college, her family had a house in Kinsale, and then her dad passed away, and they sold the house, and then never got to go. But he was what was it? The last name was Dye, but I think the original Irish was Dyer, perhaps, or Doyle. Maybe one of those. But yeah, they're from County Cork, out in Kinsale, and I always wanted to go visit. I've not been yet. Another friend of mine who is a network administrator or database administrator for Amazon took a role with them in Ireland, and he sounds like he's having a great time. He just spends his weekend, he and his wife just spend their weekends traveling, and then he works during the week, and then he travels again to go somewhere else. So sounds like some good existence right there. Andrew Stewart, Houston, what is the biggest social hurdle for humans to get over? I mean, there's all sorts of, that's a very broad question, because there's like individual social hurdles to get over, such as being able to talk to people or accept yourself for who you are, or empathize with others. And there's like grand schemes, like the social structure of things that need to be taken care of, like taking care of each other. Teaching kids, is the biggest one to get over. I don't know. Probably caring about other people might be it. Jay Houston, did you see the Star Wars tweet from Pulte, a Star Wars meme, and there is Bed Bath & Beyond tagged in it? Yes. Very bold, very out there, very look at what we're doing type thing. Interesting, right? Right? William Morgan takes him an hour to pick each day's shirt. Gotta look suave for the ladies. This is another Andrew Stewart special. This is a fantastic batik style Hawaiian shirt. I like it. It's good. Kelly Reed, Hal out birthday. Happy birthday. Where do you see the future heading towards? I know speculation, but want to hear from you. Thanks again for all you do. Another very broad question. The future, I think, is heading towards a giant ecological and societal collapse. But maybe some of us might survive. There you go. First name, last name, Houston. Only got 30 minutes into your 300th show so far, and now you're live again. Hope you have a great show. Looking forward to seeing Rosa on. Side note, have you seen the graphene batteries on Alibaba? They have graphene batteries on there? Where's my... Nope, wrong window. You're supposed to open up over here, bud. Alibaba graphene batteries. 72 volt graphene batteries. Well, let's just check this out. I go there. I gotta turn the Chrome on. Open that. Select that one. There we go. Okay. 72 volt graphene battery. Let's just look and see what they've got going on here. So we've got graphene batteries being built and sold, it looks like. Sophisticated technology capacitor sodium graphene battery. That one's different. That's sodium graphene. These aren't aluminum graphene ones. They still have an alkaloid in them. We got solar power graphene batteries. These are single cells at $36 to $40. Graphene battery pack, 12 volt capacitor battery, $500. lithium polymer graphene battery. I don't know what that means. Lithium ion, power wall supercapacitor, graphene battery. Interesting. Wonder how many are actually graphene batteries and how many of them are just throwing graphene in there as a search term. E-rickshaw. Bicycle battery. Graphene bicycle battery. Huh. Looks like it's at least the terminology is making it to market. That's for sure. These are graphene lithium. These are graphene batteries. They're not quite the aluminum graphene that GMG is doing. So it looks like they still have alkaloids in them. So we've got lithium and sodium, stuff like that. But my guess is they're probably more stable and they probably last longer. Huh. Interesting. Noted. Noted. First name, last name. Bex. Houston. Happy birthday. Have you come up with an alibi to avoid doing a show on your actual birthday yet? You did promise to confess if wish happy birthday on the correct day. Did I promise that? You might have to go back to the tapes. I don't remember. Korean name I cannot pronounce nor read. Hello. Heard Japanese broker Rakuten and other overseas brokers inform their customers to close BBYQ shares by May 19th. Sounds real familiar. Does FINRA plan to U3 halt BBYQ 2? Lol. Foreign brokers always have weird issues with OTC stocks because they don't necessarily have permission to trade those stocks. So if they're stuck holding them for some reason, it causes problems. A lot of them automatically closed people's positions the minute it became a Q stock and moved to the OTC. So I don't know, other than that, why it'd be a reason why they'd force closed positions on it. I think our next hearing, I forgot to actually look it up and verify, but I think the next hearing for BBY is the 16th. But let me okay. Restructuring. Maybe I'll list it here. Okay. Meeting of creditors is on June 5th. I thought there was something on the 16th. But apparently, I might be confusing that with something. So bid deadline. Okay. Stalking Horse deadline, May 22nd. That's 2 Mondays from now. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Okay, so Bankers Court entered an order approving the bidding procedures in connection with the sale of all or substantially all of debtors' assets. Stalking Horse deadline, May 22nd. So that's people covertly buying. Bid deadline is due the 28th. So Stalking Horse is them buying up huge portions of shares while they can. Gobble, 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 gobble. And then bids are due the 28th. So they've got to submit their bid. And then auctions will be held June 2nd via live auction. Interesting. Notice successful bidder as soon as reasonably practicable after conclusion of the auction, if necessary. Sale objection deadline is the 5th. Sale hearing the 7th. Okay, so looks like the auction on the 2nd. Auction will probably be that day. Then it gives them 3 days. Gives debtors 3 days to object to the sale if they're going to. It sounds like most of the debtors are kind of staying out of that. And then a sale hearing on the 7th. So if by the 7th we don't have a buyer, my guess is BBY is toast. Noted. You guys want to see these links? This is here, I'll send the link into here for everybody. Bam. Okay. Why do I think the 16th? I don't know what I'm talking about. There's something somewhere had to do with the 16th monkey. Yeah, she just gave me side eye backwards from the floor. That was impressive. Okay. G-Font. Hey, heads up. You have 230 days to prepare for show 400. About. Okay, noted. Houston, first time, last time. Houston, what were some of the worst food places you've been to? Also, do you have any buy it for life recommendations, i.e. brand you will always support? Let's see, your worst food places. I mean, most of those places I've had really bad food don't exist anymore because it was bad and people just were like, I'm not going there. I could tell you about the worst experience I've had in a restaurant. I'm always curious, like, as someone who worked in bars and restaurants for a good chunk of my life, I always love reading online reviews and seeing how customers interpret situations, because sometimes they're hilarious. Like, I worked in a bar that had these things called honest pints. They're certified honest pints. And the only way you can become a certified honest pint is if your glass was larger than 16 ounces. That way you didn't have head taking up, 2-3 ounces of liquid ounces of the glass. You actually got 16 ounces of liquid and then some head. And this one customer was complaining about how the beers weren't full all the way because they were filled like, 20 ounce glass. So there's 4 ounces empty space. It was usually head for the beer. And that it was just garbage, that they're paying for a pint and they're not getting the whole thing. When the whole restaurant was plastered with honest pint explaining exactly what's happening. And you open the menu and it tells you what an honest pint is and how you're getting at least 16 ounces of beer, if not more, and blah, blah, blah. But it takes you down a rabbit hole. And then you find like these reviews where, the view is garbage, the service is terrible, the food is awful. And like, really? Was it? Okay. And you look at their Yelp profile or whatever, and they've never given a glowing review of any place they've ever been in their entire life. And that got me thinking. I was like, have I had a terrible restaurant experience? And I'm someone, pre-COVID, I would eat out probably 5 times a week. I don't really enjoy cooking. I'd much rather have somebody cook for me. Just the way I am. Post-COVID, not as much anymore, especially since a lot of places are open late. But I was really, really struggling to come up with bad restaurant experience. And the only one that came to mind, so summer 2011, I flew a bunch of friends out from Hawaii. I worked them as my little minions for the summer, doing mineral exploration. We're digging diamonds and opals and stuff. And at the end of like a month of digging for rocks, we drive from the Wyoming-Colorado border and head out to South Dakota to go enjoy Sturgis and hang out with our friend Jessie at her lodge. And on the way, we stop at the Altitude Brewing in Laramie, Wyoming, to get some lunch or dinner or whatever we're getting. And, sit down. It's a crowded house, lots of people having a good time. Summer, it's end of July. And our server comes along and says, "Hey guys, I'm JT. Pleasure to serve you today." And we're like, "Hello, GT." And he takes our orders and takes off. And some of those places, they got like the big giant sheet of brown paper on the table and they give you crayons, and we're just drawing like obscene things on the table. And JT comes back, he's like, "Got your drinks for everybody?" And he's got like, there's 3 of us, and he's got like 10 beers on this giant thing. He's like, "Here you go, bud." And then we're like, "That's not ours." I had a Coca-Cola, he had a stout, he had a Pilsner. It's like, "Oh, none of those things. I'll be right back." And he's gone, comes back again, what looks like the same 10 beers on the tray. He's like, "All right, well, I double checked, and apparently this is yours." And we're like, "No, still not ours." "Huh, that's weird. Sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're pretty sure. None of those are Coca-Colas, they're all beers." And I had a Coca-Cola, and he's like, "Huh," and he leaves. And then this girl comes back with our 3 drinks, and she's like, "Here you go. So sorry about that. Just things got screwed up." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." JT comes back and he's like, "Hey, can I get you guys a food order?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll have the burger, and we'll have the pork sandwich, and they'll have the chicken dinner for 2 or whatever." And JT's like, "Solid, all right, cool, be right back with that." JT comes back, I don't know, 30 minutes later with one of those trays that's like this big. He's got held up over his head. He's got the little foldy table thing with the nylon straps. He unfolds this thing and sets this tray down, and there's at least 10 entrees piled onto this thing. He's like, "All right, here we go. Chicken pot pie?" And we're like, "No, none of us got chicken pot pie." He's like, "Huh, BLT? Nope, no BLTs. Huh. No, this isn't yours? I'm like, no, there's 3 of us and there's 10 meals there. It's definitely not us. It's like, oh, that's weird. That's very strange. Oh, one sec. He like folds up everything and runs away with it. Again, the girl comes back. And she's like, I have 3 meals. She's like, I'm so sorry about that. Here you go. Here's your burger and your whatever. And we were just joking, like, JT probably stood for just terrible. But it was an experience that was so bad it was funny. Like, no one got harmed in the process. JT was just a complete himbo. And he meant well. He just, didn't know how to do his job. It happens. So the next year, the following year, now 2012, we're staking more claims in Colorado and looking for diamonds, and it's time to go to Sturgis. So we're driving through Laramie again. We're like, you know what? Let's stop off at Altitude Brewing and see if JT is still there. And because I'll see an old friend. So we stop off. It's daytime this time around. It's not nighttime. The restaurant's not as crowded. We can see at this table. We have this lovely young woman as our server, and everything's going well. And she comes by and she does the whole like, hey, is everything going fine for you folks? And we're like, yes. Can we ask you a question? She's like, sure, yeah, totally. I'm like, oh, we were here a year ago. And we had the server, JT, who was hands down the single worst server we've ever had in our entire life. It was so bad, it was hilarious. We just got to know, does he still have a job here? And she's like, you see that guy in the suit leaning against the bar over there? We're like, yeah, that's JT. He's the manager now. We're like, what? No way. He's like, yeah, he's the head brewer's nephew. We're like, oh, Nepo baby. Okay, all right, that makes sense. No problem. You just fail that dude upward and have him schmooze with the customers all day long rather than actually like screwing up everybody's orders. But yeah, outside of that, I can't really think of a particularly outstandingly terrible restaurant experience. Remember one 4th of July, my friends are sisters and they're both visiting from out of town, and we decided to like just drive around one night after the fireworks went off and went to a Sherry's restaurant at like 2 a.m. and our server was definitely like spinning. He was just bouncing off the walls with some fresh meth in his system. But he was really attentive, and he did a great job. But my goodness, that guy was ready to pick up your freckle off his body. But even then, it wouldn't be like, terrible experience. I mean, I got my food. I was charged correctly. He was extremely attentive. He just is about to die from chemically induced methamphetamine overdose. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the time I got massive food poisoning, I'm pretty sure I did it to myself at Pizza Hut. So that was when I was working there, college. So I can't really complain. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to a restaurant. Although, when I was living in Austria, this thing, if you're an American, or I'm sure I'm Mexican, and you're living abroad in Europe, all you dream about the entire time is, I want a burrito. I really, really, oh my God, I want a burrito so bad. And there are no burritos to be had. There's no Mexican food. There's no slutty Taco Bell. There's nothing to get that Mexican food itch scratched. And one day I finished practice. It's a lovely, lovely spring day, and I'm just kind of walking around Kufstein, just kind of investigating because I'm living in this town. I want to know what's there. And I walk past this restaurant, and it's like Alpine Mexican Restaurant or something. I'm like, what? Mexican food? How come no one told me about this? And so I go in, and it's, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, and still bright and sunny outside like it is right now. And I'm standing there, and this is giant. I mean, we're talking like there's like 100 tables. It's huge. This restaurant. I'm like, wow, this place people must love their Mexican food here. And this young lady finally comes up. She's like, "Oh, would you like a table?" I said, "Yes, just one, just me." She's like, "Okay, take a table." So I take a table. She gets the order for me. I get a Coca-Cola because I'm Houston. I'm a square. And she brings the Coca-Cola back, takes off, and I'm there by myself for like an hour. I don't see anybody. No one else comes in the restaurant. Nothing is happening. It's like 8 o'clock and no one has come by. My Coca-Cola is like gone. And I see her poke her head out. She's like, oh, she she comes over. She's like, "Oh, did you want to order some food?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I came to the restaurant, was to order some food because I'm hungry." She's like, "Oh, well, in Europe, people like to sit with their drink for a while and, relax." I'm like, "Lady, I'm by myself. I got no one to talk to. And I've got a Coca-Cola." I'm not like shifting some Chablis and, savoring it. Let's get some food. She's like, "Okay." So I order the chicken burrito. And she comes out with this plate. And it's a plate with one tortilla flat. On it is some like roast chicken breasts. It's kind of peppercorny and I don't know, something you get in a continental restaurant. Alfalfa sprouts and lima beans. And that, my friends, was an Austrian burrito. I'm going to say I did not get my burrito itch scratched. So, they're not all home runs. But again, funny experience. I'm not going to leave them a negative Yelp review because it was hilarious that this was an Austrian burrito. But then again, I've worked in restaurants for years. I know that shit can just go wrong at all times. I've been the person who's caused things to go wrong. I have this wonderful shirt. Is it in this room? I don't know. I've worn it before. It's like watercolor, Japanese watercolors, kind of woodblock watercolors. And the cuff on the sleeve is like a wizard sleeve. It's just really long. And at this bar I was working in, the booths, where the back of the booths meet, two backs, on that front side is like a coat hook. It's got two hooks coming out of it. And I've got a rosarita in my hand, and I'm passing it to this woman in this giant wizard sleeve, catches the hook, and my arm just stops, and I launch this rosarita all over this woman. She's just like, all of a sudden, her entire wardrobe is just pink, and she's like, apologizing. I'm telling them, when you dry cleans in the house, your food's free. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, this is the worst. Please forgive me. And she's like, yeah, accidents happen. Okay. And she's like, giving her all the napkins and things to clean herself off. And not 5 minutes later, I've got a bowl of flash fried calamari, and I'm going to put it on the table. My sleeve catches on the exact same hook, and I launch the calamari all over this woman. Just head to toe. She's now pink, covered with little discs of calamari all over her body. And her husband's like, "What the fuck, bro?" Like, at that point, it just seems like I'm targeting her. Oh, man. You just can't win sometimes. Sometimes you just can't win. And I would totally get it. Like, they go home, and they're like, "This fucking asshole. 0 stars. Do not go. If you see this guy, he's going to throw food on you and then keep apologizing and then keep throwing food on you." I never wore that shirt again to the restaurant. Right, monkey? Yeah. Why would we do that? Oh, but I've luckily never been the person who got food launched on me by somebody else, so that's good. So I'm still waiting for that karmic backlash. Okay. What do you want? Why are you staring at me all of a sudden? Did you hear calamari and your ears perked up? Look at those big giant ears, huh? Look at those things. Come on up here. Yeah. Look at those big old dog ears perked up. Thinking she's gonna eat calamari. Okay, where were we? What were we talking about? First name, last name, asked about food, and then I went on a tangent for 20 minutes. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I just graduated from pirate school. My grades weren't bad. High C's. I won't grade that one. Kirk Wilson, Houston. Explain why the Nile begins and stretches far into the driest place on Earth, the Sun Belt. Well, what's the name of the... There's actually a geographical term for rivers that pass through deserts. I can't remember what it's called. Exotic rivers. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. All right. Let's Google Earth this sucker. Wink. Doink. There we go. All right. I'm going to get into Africa here. So the Nile begins up in Ethiopia. You get the White Nile and the Blue Nile. So it begins somewhere. Headwaters are up in here, and this is there's bits of jungle. There's lots of grasslands. It's highlands. We're up a couple thousand feet here, 2,000 there, 500, 3,000. So you can be up a couple thousand feet along here, along the East African Rift. The East African Rift ended up splitting and heading to the east, but the Nile itself, its headwaters, are up here in Ethiopia. No, I turned off my borders yesterday. There we go. All right. So Ethiopia, South Sudan, and the Nile itself passes through and ends up passing through the African steppe, or the Sahel, as they call it. Because you can see just in the satellite photos how it goes from like green and jungly into grasslands and into the desert. And then from that point forward, the Nile becomes an exotic river because it's passing through entire region where the water that contributes to the Sahara isn't necessarily coming from this region. It's coming from the headwaters. Whereas you look at most river systems, like the Mississippi River, right? Mississippi River has so many tributaries that as the river goes further downstream, it becomes larger and larger and larger as the drainage fills. So Mississippi up towards the top, tiny little river. By the time it meets the Missouri and the Ohio, it's becoming gigantic. And then you got the Red River and Arkansas River and all that stuff all meet. And the river itself becomes quite large. And you can see, even in this photo, just how big the meandering section of the Mississippi can be. This is an area, some spots are 200 feet and then it gets down to about 70 feet, but it takes hundreds of miles to do that drop. And so historically during flood zones, this whole flood area here can change where the river is over the course of millions of years. And you can zoom in and you can see remnants of old oxbow lakes. Like this is areas where, maybe hundreds of thousands of years ago, the river was passing through these areas, but now it's been closed off. You can see here, like the old contours of the state lines no longer match the river because a flood event happened and just cut off this entire section. So the rivers will change a lot as they add more water and and how much drainage they have from the surrounding areas. You don't get much at all for the Nile River once it reaches the desert. And much of the width of the Nile River, without damming, actually becomes narrower and narrower the further it goes along because it's evaporating. So the river itself loses a whole bunch of water due to irrigation and evaporation, and there's not much runoff actually making the river larger and larger as time goes on. And so by the time it reaches the mouth, it's been drained quite a bit by humanity and the sun, versus its width. So what's its width down here at the mouth? We can literally measure this. So where's my thing? I'm gonna put that into feet, and so it's 1,200 feet across towards the mouth. And this is probably really brackish because we're at a couple of feet above sea level and so on. But we get up to where it is. Oops, these are still dammed up. Damn rivers. So right where the drainage ends, here, that's it's 6,000 feet across, right? So it's about 5 times as wide at where closer to the headwaters than it is where the mouth comes out. That's because so much water gets taken out for irrigation. They lose it to evapotranspiration, which is the sun baking the water off essentially. And that's the story of it. There's several examples of these. The Niger River is another one. We can go here. This is another one where the river itself Its headwaters are in some place much more green, and it passes through the desert. So it starts up here. No, sorry, this is Lake Chad. That's where it ends. Starts up here in these greener parts of sub-Saharan Africa, and then works its way through the desert, and then ends in Lake Chad. Oh, and Google Earth just died. Cool. Well, Google Earth's dead, so I might as well go back to Big Houston. Oh, we tried to close and restart. Come on. Not responding. Yeah, I'm well aware it's not responding. How about we do one of these control deletes? Momento por favor. And the whole computer's just... yeah, end process. That's exactly... Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, we'll open you back up, and hopefully you'll launch. All right. Gosh dang it. Your job is to go into the screen. Go over there, Google Earth. All right. Pankaj Kumar. Hi, HW. With so much knowledge, how come you didn't end up with some high-paying job? If you don't mind, can you please share what went wrong? My son wants to be an astrophysicist. Astrophysicist, your experience would help him, surely. I don't think anything went wrong. I just decided that's not what I wanted to do. I had been like a computer network administrator, systems engineer. I did that off and on for years and hated it. I hated working 100 hours a week. Yeah, I made good money, but I didn't have any fun. So I was like, no. And I like teaching more, so I'd rather do that. I like climbing around in the forest, the mountains, the desert, looking for rocks. I like doing that more. And I like doing the show more. And yeah, I might not make as much money, but I can still live a middle-class existence and have, you know, dozens and dozens of hours a week to do what I want to do. So that, to me, that's much more important than making a lot of money and having no free time. And let's face it, I'm in my 40s. I look fantastic compared to my peers. And largely it's because I don't spend my day working constantly. I get great sleep. I get to read all the time. It's a pretty good trade-off, I think. What good is working my fingers to the bone doing it for retirement that I'm going to have a coronary like 6 months into. I'd rather live a comfortable existence now and be healthy than you know, be a stress monster. I just don't. Homie, don't play that. Life's too short. I'm not going to spend it all making somebody else's nut. I'm a friend. Aloha from Wahoo. Aloha from Bainbridge Island. We wild. Have a good show, bud. I'm off to sleep. Oh, yeah, it's really late for you. Thank you. Kelly Reed. Oh, crap. Kelly Reed just vanished because I... I missed... Sorry, 1 second. I missed Quiet Quest. Could you see no one getting the blue sheets? And the evidence seems to be clearly bad on their side. They don't want us to see the blue sheets. That is for sure. Because if we see the blue sheets, we will see exactly who's short, how much, and how much they were selling, and who specifically was failing to deliver. So who was manufacturing these counterfeit shares and selling them. And they do not want us to see that. Can I see no one getting it? Yeah. I can see them arguing that, this is privileged information and the privacy of these traders should be maintained. But I can also see the court saying, okay, redact that then. If that's redact their home address or whatever might be in there that's so bad. But I personally believe that pretty much all trades should be public. Just make it public. If that's what you're so worried about, then make everybody who participates, let it be known what they're doing, how many shares they're spoofing, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, I can see the courts being like, no one's going to get this, but I also can see the courts being like, well, your objection is that there's privileged information in there. We'll redact the privileged information and show us the rest. That's the simple solution. And there's been instances where blue sheets have been shown before. William Morgan did a whole boatload of posts. Was it yesterday? I think day before. crap. It's all blurring together, William. He posted like 20 tweets showing when blue sheets had been either violations to the blue sheets and fines have been given, or when they were forced to show blue sheets in investigations or litigations. So they can be shown, and let's see them. Okay. Kelly Reed. It was Kirk Wilson, Pankaj, Wheatwild. Kelly Reed, yes. 1 month Treasury yield jumps as U.S. At significant risk of default in first 2 weeks of June. Sigh. Yeah, we are significant risk of default. I have zero doubt that if this thing comes down to the wire, we get to the end of the month, I would see Moody's and other credit rating agencies downgrade U.S. credit, because we are a serious credit risk at this point. And we're serious credit risk not because we don't have the capacity to pay our bills. It's because people will consciously choose to not pay them. And that's complete bullshit. I mean, it'd be like when in his interview he did last month, Elon, with the lady who's supposed to be the new CEO, he was talking about how Twitter is really close to being cash flow positive. It's like, yeah, Twitter's could be cash flow positive because they aren't paying any of their bills. They're not paying rent. They're not paying the severance that's owed to thousands of workers. They're not paying for website hosting and other server conditions. Like, these aren't paying their vendors. So it's really easy to be cash flow positive when you're stiffing everybody on the money you owe. It's so easy. Donald Trump did it for years. The United States, like, if we just stop paying debt, we're like, we're not gonna pay debt anymore. We could probably be cash flow positive. We have a deficit of about $1 trillion a year. We spend about $1 trillion a year in interest on our debt. So, yeah, we could be cash flow positive in no time if we just stop paying our debt. But that comes at a cost, which is the collapse of the entire economy. So our 1 year of being cash flow positive will result in no one having money ever again on the entire planet. So probably not the best thing to do. Martin Weiss, second intro. Nice try, sucker. Coffee, Donuts, and Homer. What's up with Ryan Cohen being anti-vaxxer? What's next union bashing? His billionaire lifestyle is probably not inconvenienced much by coronavirus. Yeah, I mean, this is why I say, don't trust billionaires. We're using this particular billionaire at this moment. But in the end, no one should be billionaires. Billionaires should not exist. Martin Weiss, have you ever drunk Brew Dogs, the end of history? They're $20,000 a bottle. No. I've never had anything that's $20,000 a bottle. And with alcohol, I still wouldn't have it. Because I'm a square. Crypto dumping? Anyone? Is crypto dumping again? It's just that 24-hour market. It happens all the time. Okay, crypto. What's going on? Nope, it's bouncing right back up again. So it was dumping. It bounced off of 25.9, and now we're back up to 26.9 in 2 hours. So it's crashing, and in 2 hours it went up $1,000. Way to go, Bitcoin. Okay. Moon still bullish on costs. I still have my costs. I'm still waiting for it to trigger with everything else. It seems to be quite the bellwether and tied in with several of these other meme stocks. Where are they at right now? I haven't looked at costs recently. I'm not paying attention. Where are you? Costs. Back down, it's down to 380. Goodness gracious, this dropped quite a bit. So we had a peak at $11 back in July, and it's been steadily down ever since then. Nowhere near the 127 that it hit. Intraday high was 127. $64 was the end of the day high in January 2021. But it stayed up there. Stayed like $20 for a year, basically, before it had this little steady decline. But cost is weird because the float is so tiny that they don't have options chain, but it's really, really easy to manipulate the price with such a small float. So that happens as well. Martin Weiss, what do you call a factory that makes okay products? a satisfactory. Man, the Germans coming in hot with the puns. John Wendell, well, Wells, where's is our money? Well, I don't know, it's coming. Idiot Red Mustang, what you think about Ryan Cohen tweeting BS about the COVID vaccine? Happy birthday. Ryan, don't do that. Be better than that. But then again, you know, billionaires be billionairing, and they want their workers to die preventable deaths. I don't know. Martin Weiss just learned the hard way that black beaches are A, mesmerizing, especially when watching how the waves separate black and normal colored sand, and B, burn your naked feet. Yeah, well, there's a couple different kinds of black beaches. So you go to Hawaii, the black beaches will be hot as hell, but they're volcanic sands. They're from basalt, freshly exploded basalt. As it runs into the ocean, it bursts into all those little bits of sand when it gets steam flashes. And then the beach will build up, and it'll be black. Then you have black sands, which are full of magnetite. That's the stuff that if I go out to the coast, I will mine. And sometimes you can see it. Let's see if we can see any magnetite here on a beach from space. Can we see it? Do we have a high enough resolution? Come on, give me some high resolution. Let's see here. Oh, actually, that's pretty high resolution. That is very high resolution. Okay, there we go. All right. So, this is off the coast of Oregon. And it's about 1 meter resolution, so you can't quite see it. But you can see discolorations. Oh, here we go. Boom, look at how clear that is. That's magnificent. Okay. This will be great. All right. So we're zooming in here. There's bands of black sand on this beach. And there's also marks from some cars have been driving on it. Let's see if we can get a nice whippity whip of black sand here. So got tire marks of cars. Come on, you can do it. You can give me. Come on, we'll see some. I know we will. There we go. There's a strip feeding out in this part of the river. We need a good winter picture. This is probably done in the summer. But you get bands of black sand on the beach that get concentrated by the waves. And it's because they're several times denser than the quartz sand, the white sand that's around it. Here's some coming off these dunes here. And inside that black sand, the magnetites and iron ore, you'll have gold, platinum, you'll have micro diamonds and micro rubies. We'll concentrate on them as well. And what happens is the giant waves come up, the crash, they kick up all the sand, and when they pull back, the power of the undertow pulling back all that sand pulls back all the light quartz sand, leaving behind the heavier stuff. So it naturally concentrates them at the high tide mark. It's the first spot where they'll kind of drop out. So wintertime, you'll get lots of black sand at the high tide mark. And here, this is all done in the summer, so the waves aren't as big and don't do as good a job concentrating. It builds up the beach more. But there's a guy driving along the beach. Okay, we're looking, and we're different photo here. Okay, still looking. Okay, I was gonna hope to find Gold Beach, but I did not see anything there. This is this Gold Beach. This might actually be Gold Beach itself. North Jetty, Harbor Vista, South Jetty. No, it's Suislaw. I want the Rogue River. Not wrong river. Rogue River. North Bend, Coos Bay, Port Chamber, Gold Beach. Down here. That's because I was looking at the wrong beach. So Gold Beach, this went on for millions of years. This concentrating of the gold ore. And the Rogue River is a very gold-rich river. So tons of micro gold is being washed out of the river every year. And then, here we go. You can see it. You can see how dark the sand is here in comparison, because this is so full of magnetite. Whereas the sand further north was like really blonde and white. This stuff is much darker. So when prospectors first made it to Gold Beach back in the day, they literally were pulling out almost an ounce of gold per pan. So you'd scoop your pan to the sand and wash it out. You'd have an ounce of gold there, because for 20 million years, the gold is getting concentrated in this beach by the wave action as the gold left the river. and a huge gold rush came to Gold Beach, and people just stripped the beach of everything and took as much gold as possible. But the gold, the micro fine gold that's in this beach, is also in the spit here, in this little airport that's on the spit. It's also on this side. So if you can probably go inland and dig a big hole, and out of the sand just naturally have a bunch of gold. But you can see the discoloration of the sand here compared to that one in the north, how gray it is, because there's a lot more magnetite held in this sand, a lot more high concentration of heavy minerals. And that's where you'll find a whole bunch of gold and platinum. You have the spit forming, like this is normally dredged out, but there's a spit forming here. Probably get dredged again, because otherwise this is not a navigable river anymore. But yeah, that's probably rich with gold. It's a great sandbar to get more micro gold. Let's see here. Because anything that's coming out of the river gets concentrated. Oh, look at that sand. Look at that sand. Oh, I want to go dig it. I want to go dig it so bad. But yeah, like black sand in Hawaii will not have gold in it because it's basalt. It's a completely different mineral. But that stuff, that's the good stuff right there. Owen Saunders, evening, pal. I'm slowly losing my faith in my GME, MMAT, and MMTLP. Will I ever be financially free? Well, GameStop is holding steady. Everything else, taking cliff dives. Those cliff dives, I think they're more temporary than anything else. And then we just got to wait and see what the courts say about MMTLP. We'll get some news from Rosa in 9 days. Oh, hey, cat, what's up? Ow, he just bit me. Don't bite me, you little weirdo. But yeah, we'll get an update from Rosa as to what's happening with the courts. And cat, what are you doing? Okay, whatever. Frozen Houston. Did I freeze again? It's my internet actually looks like it's come back to excellent again. Money over Mayo. I'm not from the U.S. Can you please explain what's going on at the southern border and what is Title 42? Okay, so what's happened at the southern border is what's always happened throughout the existence of the United States of America, is that people to the south of our border live in countries that don't have as much as we do. They're a lot more impoverished. Their systems of democracy are largely failing. Huge amounts of wealth concentrated at the top, and everyone else is living a peasant's life, essentially. A lot of subsistence farmers, a lot of people that are working shitty jobs, and they want out. Overrun with gangs. A lot of those gangs have been exported from the United States to those countries without any help to maintain the safety of the population. And so those people are fleeing. They see, you go north, there's jobs in the United States, and they pay better, and you can remit payments back home to family in Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, whatever, Guatemala. And those folks can, oh, hey, cat. Cattail karaoke! So there's an economic incentive. There's a sociological incentive in that a lot of people down there, they're facing targeting from gangs. They're facing death threats. Their safety is not guaranteed, and so they're trying to get to the United States, where they can seek asylum. Now, under federal law, you reach the border, you can say, "Hey, I'm seeking asylum," and we have to take you in. We have to, and we have to investigate whether your asylum is worthwhile or not. If we determine yes, your asylum, you do have a fear for your safety, etc., you can stay here. And we'll document you. And if we just conclude that you don't have a legitimate asylum claim, then we literally put you back on a bus or a plane and send you back. So Title 42 is a rule that Stephen Miller, the Nazi who worked in Trump's White House, and I don't use that term lightly, I mean, Stephen Miller is a Nazi. He is a Heil Hitler, Nazi all the way, was best friends with Richard Spencer at Duke, who also was the most prominent Nazi in the United States of America. He used COVID as an excuse to keep people from being able to step foot in the United States and ask for asylum. And so Title 42 was this rule they wrote saying, we can't have the spread of COVID come from other people outside the country, so we have to stay in Mexico until you have a hearing for your asylum. and or before they could stay in the United States, still they got a hearing, and it was entirely a reason to keep brown people out of the United States because it didn't affect people seeking asylum from elsewhere. You could come from Ukraine and get asylum. You could come from, I don't know, Bosnia or something and get asylum, but you couldn't come here and get asylum. So now that COVID's over, you can no longer have this excuse to be like, hey, we can't spread COVID, so you guys gotta stay in Mexico. They're trying to pass a rule saying that if you can only seek asylum in the United States if you can prove you applied for asylum in other countries you passed through before getting here, and didn't get it granted, which is strange because at the Mexican border, tons of Ukrainians pass through Mexico to get asylum in the United States. And we aren't holding them to that same standard where they have to seek asylum in Mexico first before they'd be allowed to seek asylum here. So it's all about brown people. That a bunch of racists don't want brown people in the United States. And that's as simple as that. And it's... People are going to immigrate to the United States so long as the standard of living is higher in the United States than in those countries. So if we really, really, really wanted to do something about immigration, people trying to flood our border or move here, we should perhaps make lives better for people in those countries. You'll notice that people from Panama and Costa Rica aren't trying to come to the United States because the standard of living in Panama and Costa Rica are significantly higher than the other nations in Central America. But nations that have been repeatedly destabilized by the United States, Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, people from those places are trying to get here. People from Venezuela are trying to get here because their sanctions have destroyed the Venezuelan economy so much. So yeah, that's if you are going to make life hard for your neighbors, the people who are your neighbors are like, well, fuck this, I'm gonna go to where the life's good. So we're incentivizing them to come here by making their lives so terrible there. So I don't know, maybe we should improve infrastructure, improve the Pan America Highway, do things to make industry want to be in those places, help get rid of corrupt governments, take care of cartels, do all the little things that will make people's lives better overall. We can do that. Okay. Martin Weiss, hit the like button. Now my screen is broken. Oh, well. Michael David, love your show, man. Thank you. But when you say long COVID, I hope you have evidence for other long diseases. I mean, there are other long diseases. Novel viruses, we don't know how they work in people's bodies. We don't. Not for a long... It takes a long time and a lot of study to figure out how it's working in their bodies. But we have evidence that long COVID is happening. Recently, I think it was the LA coroners did a study. They took 30-something random dead bodies, and they dissected their brains, and in 11 of those 30 bodies, they found live COVID virus. And these are people that had gotten over COVID 1 or 2 years ago and still had live virus in their brains when they died. So there's weird things that happen. COVID is not a respiratory disease. It can affect the respiratory system, but more than anything, it's a blood disease that spreads to all of your organs if given the chance. It'll spread to your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your lungs, your brain, and it will attack these things. Lots of people who got COVID are finding themselves in renal failure, needing dialysis or transplants, or they need new livers. The rate of heart attacks, the number of heart attacks are increasing, and the age at which these heart attacks are happening are decreasing due to COVID attacking the hearts. It makes capillaries brittle, so you're more subjective to embolisms, strokes, aneurysms, and shrinking the brain matter of a lot of those affected. So their brains are shrinking and shriveling and drying out, so they're getting dumber, and you can't fix that. You can't make somebody with brain damage smarter. It just doesn't happen that way. Once you injure this bag of fat, that's usually it. and you're a different person after that. So yeah, there's a lot suffering. There's 1 in 5 people infected with COVID are suffering from long COVID. And granted, that ranges the spectrum from they never got their sense of taste or smell back to they're drinking out of a straw and they're complete vegetables. So there's definitely a long spectrum in there, but that's a significant portion of the population to be affected by these continuing nagging chronic diseases as a result. Rates of childhood diabetes, which were already terrible because there are a bunch of fat asses in America, but rates of diabetes have shot through the roof. Normally, you're born with type 1 diabetes. You don't develop it later in life. You get type 2 diabetes, which comes from the mobile fats in your body and not being able to process insulin and things like that. But we're finding that people are developing type 1 diabetes after they've had COVID, which is very, very weird. That's why you're developing type 1 diabetes when you're 14 and not, from the moment you're born, you're diabetic type thing. Normally expect adult onset diabetes, not type 1, to be forming after, battles. What's your tail? Someone must have just driven home. Michael Mystery, nice to see more green name members. Welcome, green members. Monkey Butt and I will always welcome you. How's your gaming? Martin Wise, any Acme news? Not that I know of. How's your gaming? Got any motivation for these times? I feel like I'm in a cult, even though the theory is solid. I'm talking about GME. How do you know we haven't been duped? I don't mean to spread fear. Because no one's closed yet. Simple as that. Had they closed, prices would have gone, and they just haven't yet. So they will never close unless they're forced to, and no one's forced them to do it yet. So that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on that forced closing when they have to do it. Until then, we just sit back and wait, twiddle our thumbs. Michael David, I feel duped. They're gonna pull the no shorting rule out and no more pop lol. Will be no shorting of banks. They will let you short the hell out of everything else, but they won't let you short banks if they do that rule. There's Martin Weiss. Yes, thumb twiddling patience game. Yes, just twiddle those thumbs. So we're doing every 3 days a week when we're on the shows. We're actually just twiddling thumbs here, just doing it while I verbal diarrhea all over the internet, sitting on hands. Dan Harris, 780 million by one company, Seed & Company, not telling how many are out there. Well, Seed Company is fast shares. So if you're buying shares through a brokerage, that's a Seed & Company share. That's what's happening with BBY and every other share in existence. Martin Weiss, what did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies! Oh my God, the Germans! Germans are showing that their humor is underrated, that's for sure. Jason Blackwell, time for you to move to Germany. Michael David, is there a hole in the system for them not to cover? The hole is the system. And the system only works so long as the system only works so long as the system has money. The system currently has money, but we're facing a liquidity crunch, so probably not much longer. The system will probably lose out on that soon. Because money brings power, and without money, you have no power. You got no power, and you can't force them to do anything. Look the other way on your debts, etc. Lee Meadows, maybe some good news on Tuesday for BBYQ. I was hoping, but I think I was wrong about the 16th thing. So we might have to wait for 28th when bids start coming in. Eric, Houston, your shirt pocket pattern does not match the background. This is true. This is not a high quality shirt, but it's still a lovely shirt nonetheless, and I will wear it. Not legal advice. Appreciate your views on things. Richard H. Well, thank you. Dan Harris, you need an on-site personal assistant, sir. I need on-site everything. I need a producer. I need people that can just get shit done. So all I have to do is sit in front of the camera. That's what I need. People who love tinkering with video and audio and cameras, because that's not me. I don't love tinkering on stuff. I don't mind yakking to you guys, but organizing shoots and stuff like that is just not my cup of tea. Not my strength. Michael Baker, happy birthday. Thank you. Squamps, Pizza Hut diarrhea. Pizza Hut diarrhea to end all diarrheas. It was, we're talking every 5 minutes for 5 days. There was nothing left. I was a shell man. Imagine me now, right? 96 pounds lighter than I am now. I am not a fat man. I got a little extra at the moment because it's been a while since I've been gymming it up. But take 96 pounds out of me. Take 96 pounds out of me. I am not a gigantic human being. I was down to 118 pounds. I'm 212 right now. That's insane. 213, somewhere in there. Yeah. I was so skinny after salmonella from Pizza Hut. So skinny. It tried to kill me, for sure. Okay. What to do? Martin Weiss, 1 of 3. When Titanic sank, a shipment of 20,000 jars of mayo was lost. The people of Mexico, who were crazy about mayonnaise and were eagerly awaiting its delivery, were disconsolate at the loss. 2 of 3. Their anguish was so great that they declared a national day of mourning, which they still observe to this day. The National Day of Mourning occurs each year on May 5th and is known, of course, as Cinco de Mayo. Oh, we're doing puns, a German doing puns in English about a Spanish word. That's as international as it gets right there. Rupert Trooper. Houston, have you seen Pulte's new tweet about Star Wars? Yes. KYP's here. Hello. Is you get Austrian burrito surely had corn on it too, maybe some mayonnaise too. It was the saddest burrito equivalent I've ever seen in my entire life. My old roommate Mark, he's from England, west of England, like pirate country, where they filmed Hot Fuzz and the great big bushy beard. Like that's the accent that everyone there has. So he went back. It had been years since he had visited his family back in England, and he'd been living here I think 8 years at that point. Went back to go visit for a couple weeks, and he said that the entire time he was just like, I need a burrito. There's no burritos here. Oh my god, I need a burrito because it's all he eats. Why Mexican restaurants aren't more prevalent around the world, I do not understand. Burritos are fantastic, and the minute you start eating them as a normal food, you don't realize how many burritos you're eating every week or month until you don't have them anymore. And you're like, oh my god, I was having burritos like every third day, and now I don't get to have any. So business idea for anybody who is an excellent Mexican cook: move to large European cities, open up a Mexican restaurant, make real Mexican food, and you will be the most popular restaurant in that city, because there are thousands of expats who will frequent your restaurant like crazy because they've been craving a burrito for years as they've been stuck in Paris or Vienna or wherever they are. So make them burritos. Citizen 54, Houston, can you talk more about helium-3 jet engines? Boeing has one. Not that I know. I know Lockheed Martin has patents that they filed for some sort of thrust engine that utilizes fusion. It's similar to the generator that the University of Washington patented. And what it comes down to is a containment unit, because when you do this fusion, you create this gigantic electric and magnetic field. So you have to contain the field, otherwise you just get explosions. And the idea is you contain this field in a giant magnetic field, and in doing so, you allow some of the energy to leak out to power whatever's power. I don't specifically know how they make that happen or what process it works. I have a vague idea that they're containing the energy in a magnetic field, and they allow some to leak out in order to power what they need to power. Beyond that, it's all Greek to me, man. BOFH, the only time I had food launched onto me was at Applebee's, so the food wasn't even worth free. There was another time I was clearing a table, and there was a knife with like just a glob of mayonnaise on it. When I picked the plate up, the heavy part of the knife wasn't, the guy had not put it on his plate all the way, and it fell off, and it landed on his sweater, and then like slithered down his back like a slug, leaving this trail of mayonnaise down his back. And he's like this thick winter sweater, didn't even notice. So I leaned over and I was like, sir, I've got good news and bad news. He's like, huh? I said, well, the good news is your dinner's free. And he's like, well, what's the bad news? I said, so is your dry cleaning. Oh crap, there's the I just lost my spot. Where were you? It was, okay, did that one. Did the Martin Weiss thing. Vizio guy, 74, FH. Eric, there we go. I used to work in several restaurants 20 years ago. Do you have nightmares where you're having the worst night ever as a server where everything is going wrong? The only anxiety dreams regarding like working in a restaurant I ever had involved, and I think they're related. Like, have you ever had the anxiety dream where you're at the end of a term in college or high school, and you discover that there's a class that you were signed up for that you didn't know you were signed up for, like the finals tomorrow? And you have like, oh my god, I didn't know I didn't do any of the homework. Wasn't in the class. I had no idea I had this class. Oh no, I've had those ones for school, but the restaurant one I have is, you know, these people I was working for decided to open a second restaurant. I'm like, Houston, you're the most experienced person in our restaurant now. We want you to go and run this other restaurant for us to get it up and running and started, and so you can train everybody to be just like you. And it's like, oh, thank you so much. And it becomes like opening day of the restaurant and the grand opening, and everything's going swimmingly. It's amazing, and all the customers are so happy. And then I start hearing these complaints that there's all these customers aren't being served. And I discover that the restaurant is 2 floors, and down the first floor is a whole bunch of people that I never like hired servers to like wait on the tables. So the host has been filling up this entire floor of people, and no one's ever come visit their table. I've been like, can I get you anything to drink? And they're just like angry, and they're like ready to murder because they're so hangry and just awful. I have that one in various varieties of anxiety, but that's the one that I'll get. Daniel Bernard, rumor of Schwab increased his position 431% today to 8.6 million shares. Schwab increased what position 431%? GME? I don't know which position you're talking about. Eaglemon, the recession is here. Someone is trying to offload their entire collection of vintage Louis Vuitton trunks circa 1910, 1920. They're going for $16,000 to $45,000 a piece. I don't want one of those. Oh, BBYQ. Schwab is buying up a whole bunch of BBYQ. Well, might as well. It's pennies, right? And if bidding is supposed to be done on the 28th, we'll see who's bidding. So they're going to try and buy up as much as they can before then, and then they're going to make their bids. Chris Holcomb, Houston, what are your thoughts on Acme Parent Company's latest earnings? I have not. I've actually seen them. I assume that they're pretty terrible because they still haven't sold anything yet. So revenue is not the big, strong suit. It will be. But they're forming a sales team. And that's what they got to do. They need some bros out there golfing and drinking and glad handing and going to strip clubs and doing all the things that sales bros do. Car stuff. Happy birthday, Houston. Does it feel like they're just holding up the market until summer vacation in the Bahamas or the Hamptons is over? Probably. Yeah. Korean name that I cannot pronounce. Do you do what you like, pursue happiness, and support what you do with a lot of respect? Thank you. Common sense beats intelligence. Hawaiian shirt madness. Hawaiian shirt madness. Away today, Houston. I'm 53, full-time single dad of a 14, 18-year-old boys. Work for myself. Once bills are paid, I hang with my kids. People think I'm late 30s, early 40s. You're living right. Keep doing you. Yeah. Just do what you can to be happy. And anything that comes after that, well, that's an added bonus, I guess. Away today, don't drink, get good sleep, eat good food, nothing from a sack, and very little stress other than kids are homeschooled. Yeah, I mean, I do eat a lot of garbage food, but I figure that's okay considering that I'm not floating my liver. When I went to my 20th high school reunion, which was 4 years ago now, I was like, oh my God, you people look like shit. Like, wow, you look so old. I look way better than, like, all of you. No offense to anyone who's in my class in high school, but you look like garbage. Guitar stuff. Isn't it too easy to blame the Trump administration for Title 42? Biden didn't get rid of this racist policy either. They initially tried, and then the court said, nope, can't get rid of it, which was very weird. And then the Biden administration embraced it, which I thought was wrong. The Biden administration should never have embraced it. They should have just gotten rid of the thing, told the courts to go F themselves, and gotten rid of it anyway. It's an executive order. You can get rid of executive orders if you want to. But now that the COVID emergency has ended, Title 42 has no bearing anymore. Yeah. Whisker Biscuit looking at buying some workout equipment off Alibaba since it's dirt cheap. Bad idea. Any warnings regarding shipping and importing? I mean, I have some nameless power tools in my garage from them. I've got a lathe that works great. It doesn't have adjustable speed. You actually have to like open this panel and take the belt and move it onto different size gears to change the speed of the lathe. But it was $119 for a 40-inch lathe. Any other 40-inch lathe I tried to find was like $1,200. I got a really great drill press. The 14-inch drill press works great for like $60 off Alibaba. I just had to wait forever for the shipping. What is it? What? Oh, that? Is that what you're? That's what. Well, okay. Yes. Appears to be that time. She knows I've been yelling at the wall for an hour and a half. I should probably pay her the tax, right? Let's see here. I'm going to pick off a little piece to see if Chupa Batman wants some. It's going to be a Chupa Batman piece. Okay, come here. Come here. Come on. There. You got it? Okay. And into the Jaws cam. Jaws cam. Kitty. Hey. Want that? Don't just stare at it and sniff it. Put it in your mouth, you dumb cat. Oh, yeah. Is that the stuff you're looking for? Take it. There you go. The cat's like, I don't know. Cat, put it in your mouth. It's not that hard. The dog will eat it if you don't. All right. Cat doesn't want it. Monkey butt. Ready? No, nice catch. Did you catch it? You did catch it. Good job. Okay. Okay. But home gyms are the best coat racks you'll ever buy. That's the end of that story. I just, when it comes to like gymming, I have to like go somewhere and purposely be like, okay, I got 2 hours. I'm going to do this. Because I'm at home, I don't do it at all. I just don't go, don't do it. I'm like, oh, I'll get it done later. It's here at home. I have to like physically remove myself and go to a place to actually go work out. Oh goodness, come on, man. Where is, I keep losing my spot here. Guitar stuff, I can't untime you out. How did guitar stuff get untimed? He's not there. He's not. Huh. I think someone untimed you out, guitar stuff. I don't know. Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay. People having fat thumbs, it looks like. Just knocking, accidentally deleting people's posts. Vegata D. Luffy or Vegata D. Luffy? Houston, I just started your live from the beginning. Just reached the part where you're talking about BB with $3 trillion short squid. And I said, you have a dangerous mind, sir. Well, I always love to think about what loopholes there are and what things you can get away with. Like, might as well try it, right? Right? Like, you know, if you are in the the Stalking Horse deadline. I want to say Dark Horse. Stalking Horse deadline, and you're buying as many shares as humanly possible in that period of time. And you can buy 150% of the float. You may as well then put an offer at like $1 million a share. Because you already own the entire company and then some, and they have to pay you to take the other 50% off of you. So let's do it. Ryan Cohen, quit tweeting about vaccines and do that instead. Same thing with you, Carl Icahn and Pulte. Just go do that. And then my options will be worth just gajillions and I'll take it. Ali, Indian food is better in the Mexican food in Europe. It's different. I mean, I love me curry. Curry is literally my middle name. But sometimes I want a burrito. And burritos are burritos. They just fish tacos, especially Baja style. So simple. A little pan-fried fish, a little yogurt sauce, some coleslaw, and that's it. And it is, it's so good. It's so good. Danny Bachelor, much love, buddy. Love your videos. Thank you. John B. A mushroom walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Get out." Mushroom says, "Come on, I'm a fun guy." Ha. Ha. So, this guy, this giraffe go into a bar, and they're just drinking it up. They're getting wasted. They're telling the bartender, like, line up the shots. They're like, pa, pa, pa. And they're just hanging their high five, and they're flirting with girls. They're playing tunes in the jukebox, and they're just downing pints of beer and pitchers of margaritas, and they're buying everyone drinks and having a great time. And at one point, you know, the giraffe's like, one more shot of tequila. And the bartender's like, okay. Pours this shot of tequila. Giraffe knocks it back and just passes out across the entire bar. And his buddy gets up, like, puts on his jacket, starts heading towards the door. And the bartender says, "Hey, you can't leave that lion here." And he goes, "That's not a lion. That's a fucking giraffe." And walks out. Pause for applause. Flavor Flaving, did you notice anything in that picture? Amazon and BBY in picture. Let's look at it. Let's look at the picture. Okay, I'm gonna go Pulte. Boink. Where Where's the picture? There it is. Okay. All right. So this is what Pulte tweeted, and nope, that's Google Earth. There we go. That's what he tweeted. Okay. So we got the short strike back. We got Carl Icahn. We got Ryan Cohen. Darth Vader is definitely Griffin. There is Prime Air in here. So they are, I can't tell if they're the bad guys or not. I don't even know what the hell that is. The Bed Bath & Beyond bag on a speeder. Is that Trimbath? I can't tell who that is. Is that his dog? All right, so we definitely do have some illusions here. My mom needs a grandma dog like that, FYI. She needs a definite grandma dog. But yeah, there's got the Prime Air, got the Bed Bath & Beyond bag. I like that Yoda is I can 800 years I am. Yeah. So, yeah. Take of it what you will. Bum, No Worries is a fun new experience about getting accidentally banned. Guitar Staff also lived in the UK for 5 years. Don't order Mexican food. It'll just make you sad. Yes. My sister, when she was living in Sydney, Australia, there was a place that was called like Tequila's or something. And her coworkers all loved going there. And she was like, this is just the saddest restaurant I've ever been in my entire life. There's nothing enjoyable about it. They have tequila, but everything else is just... You think beans, cheese, and chicken would be an easy thing to grow around the world? You can just slap some tortillas in there and you're good to go, but apparently difficult. Very difficult. Guitar Stuff Houston, I think we need free college for all as a way to get people out of poverty. How would you structure it so it wouldn't be abused? You have to get into college first. So I would say you would get, X number of credits at community college free if you didn't qualify to get into a 4-year school, etc. And from there, if you could transfer, if you got good enough grades and you could transfer into a 4-year school, you would have public 4-year school paid for. Not private college. I'm not talking Harvard and Yale and, Whitman and other private colleges, but state schools, publicly funded state schools should be tuition free. At that point, if you can do it in 5 or 6 years, that should be covered. Some people think it take longer because it might be a number of credits thing. There's folks like me who got multiple degrees at the same time, so we tried to maximize as much as we could. Like most people doing 15 semester credits, I was doing like 27, and just so many classes. But like once you get to 18 credits, any classes beyond that, it didn't, like where I was going to school, there was no difference in price. You take 27 credits, you take 18 credits, same price. So that's why I decided to load up best I could. Granted, got to the point where the school was like, you have too many credits, get out. Even though I'd only been there 3.5 years. Like I had not done 4 years at the University of Hawaii yet, but they were like, you have too many credits, get out. So they kicked me out. So probably be some sort of meeting place within that realm. And I would venture to say, grad school. Like, if you want to be educated in this country, you should be able to get educated because an educated population makes a better population. A more marketable population, a smarter population. It's just better to have access to education. And there's a lot of people in this country who don't get that opportunity because they don't want to take on the loans because they know they can't afford it. They want to put their family in that position. Or B, they're forced to join the military in hopes that pays for education, which, I don't think doing 4 years as a grunt in the military should be the only way you can get educated in this country. I'm happy with an all volunteer force that, you know, entices people because they want to serve the country, but blackmailing them or bribing them or whatever, however you want to put it, in the hopes that they can have a better life after they serve the military, I don't think is the best way to do it. Just make healthcare and college free. It's that simple. Other countries do it, and they do just fine. They don't have the debts that we have. We've got, you know, we're spending $1 kajillion a year just servicing the loans that we're giving out. And the cost of servicing those loans, we could easily just pay for college. You eliminate all this administration that's worried about facilitating the federal student aid program on both ends, and it would just make things cheaper. Just like with healthcare. Just get rid of private insurance and all the administrators disappear. It's so easy. Oh, and you get them on guitar stuff. Organ used to be the same way for Mexican food. Heat was substituted for onions. Cabo, any word from Sears? Not that I've seen yet. Kevin Ronan, congrats on show 300 yesterday. Thanks for being you. Thank you, Kevin. Visio Guy, I've substituted burritos with Durham Doner, which is a burrito format gyro kebab. Different taste, but fits the perfect lunch bill. Noted. All right. System 54, Florida should secede. We can replace it with Puerto Rico. Josh Propels, Tennessee. If you're motivated, get a personal trainer to set you up with their training app and then work out from there. Then you don't have to have necessarily go see someone. I would love to have that personal trainer who's like, get the fuck out of bed, start doing push-ups, and then have them make me do things. Because I was in great shape in college when I had a coach yelling at me all the time to make me do stuff. I was running 10 miles a day. I was hitting the gym. I looked like a Greek god. But, you know, now I wake up and think, I'll go tomorrow. That's the story of life. Citizen 54. What the heck is CO2 fuel, synthetic fuel being made by Porsche? Yes. So there's carbon capture companies out there, and the biggest one is the one that's in Squamish, BC with their plant. And they pull CO2 out of the air, and they do some jiggering with it, and you can recombine into different compounds. You can make fuels out of it. So Porsche opened up, is in Chile, where their first plant is, where they're pulling CO2 out of the air and making synthetic gasoline with the CO2 they're pulling out of the air. So putting it through some chemical process, turn out CO2 into something else, and you can reburn it as fuel. They only have the capacity to do so much with the size of the factory they have, but they have a hope of someday making more of it. So it's effectively carbon neutral because you're pulling the CO2 out of the air, you're burning it in the car, putting the exact CO2 that was there back into the air. So it's not necessarily like removing it as we actually need. We need to just take CO2 out of the air in general and stop putting more of it in the air. But it's a step in the right direction. Kyle Garibaldi. Oh, there's one sec. Lost Ways, what's up with Robinhood's new trading hours? Yeah, Robinhood says they're going to try to move to a 24-hour platform. Just stop. This whole 24-hour crap, just stop. Just stop. People have lives to live. Stop trading everything 24 hours a day. Give us a goddamn break every once in a while. We don't need to constantly be, oh my god, it just dropped, I gotta buy, like, let people enjoy their dinner. Let them enjoy a movie. Let them, like, take 2 hours to themselves. Quit with this stupid 24-hour crap. Just stop it. Stop it right now. We shouldn't have price action happening all day, every day. We need to, like, be able to take a break every once in a while for our own mental sanity. But yeah, Robinhood wants to make a 24-hour stock exchange. Someone else was trying it. Who else was the other one that was trying it then pulled back? Monkey, you know this one. Answer me. Stop licking your bed, you weirdo. Her bed's delicious, apparently. But they like looked at it and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do a 24-hour exchange. How would you like it? Like, there you are. It's Thursday night. It's you, your wife, the kids. You're enjoying a nice dinner together. You know, you have a nice hour to yourselves. You're learning about each other's day. You're joking with the kids. You're discussing events that are happening in the PTA and what happened at work today and the kid's best friend at school or whatever. And then dinner's all over and you open your phone, discover that your entire portfolio has been wiped out because the crash happened in that hour you were spending time with your family. No, just end the idea of the 24-hour exchange. Just stop it. Stop it right now. Oh, quiet quest. What will Finra say May 19th, you think? Wait, which May 19th? Well, this May 19th, but in which case? in Rose's case? Like, oh, what? I mean, you don't have a responsibility for anything. That's probably what they're going to say. Because that's what they do. That's not my problem. I did what I was supposed to do, which is help my buddies. You can't sue me for it, though, because it was part of my regulatory duty to do so. So they're going to talk out of both sides of their mouth. My neighbor Mayo, European shawarma is better than burrito. I'm going to go have some shawarma, and we'll do some comparisons, because I've had some damn good burritos in my time. Okay, Kyle Garibaldi. Since 300 is a milestone, if you live to be 300 years old and you stopped aging today, could you think of a way to take over the country like an oil baron? How much influence could you have by the year 2300? Okay. Let's just say 300 years from now, right? We got 300 iterations. I'm going to put, let's calculate this sucker. Okay. So I'm living 300 years. I got $10,000 to put into an account. Ding, I got to turn you off. Got to turn you off. Got to turn you off. Back calculator. Okay, so 300 years, right? I take $10,000. I put it into a Vanguard at 8%. Okay. I'm making $800 at first year, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. So in 100 years, my $10,000 has turned to $25 million. Cool. Right? I still have 200 years to go. Just sitting in an account making 8% a year. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I'm at 150 years in. I'm at 1.2 billion. So I'm a billionaire. Granted, inflation's been happening and, wars have happened and, dystopian futures, robots have taken over. But I'm a billionaire finally. I've done nothing. I've added nothing except what's just been compounding in my account after 150 years. So I'm only halfway there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I'm 200 years in. I'm worth $52 billion, $260 million. Cool. I have 50 years to go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So now I'm at 300 years. I'm now worth $2.269 trillion. Hopefully even 300 years from now, that might be considered a lot of money. I don't know. Maybe we've restructured our monetary system. We've reissued new dineros. I don't know. But In 300 years, my $10,000 investment account is now worth $2.25 trillion. Not too shabby. Hopefully that's enough to live off of for my remaining days. I don't know how much longer I have to go, but maybe then I can start my influence campaign at that point and start actually seizing control of all of humanity. My guess is 300 years from now, my ability to take control of humanity will be based solely upon I'll be the last human being alive, because everyone else will have died from our dystopian hellscape. So I'll be like, I am the king of this pile of skulls. So there you go. Power of compounding interest. There's an old joke from Red Dwarf. You know, if you guys ever watched Red Dwarf, David Lister was in a stasis pod. Everyone on the ship died from a radiation leak, and he gets released by the ship's computer when the background radiation drops 3 million years later. And he's informed that he's the richest human being alive because he left like $1.29 in his account, and now owns like 99% of all of Earth as a result of the compounding interest over the years. It's a good joke. All right. Benedict, Scotland has good burgers, nice grass-fed beef. I'll have to take your word for it. I've not yet been to Scotland yet. Fun fact, Louisiana, the only state in the Union that does not live under common law. Is that because they have French law that they live under? French is their civil code, yeah. So it's the Canadian dude. French is their civil code. We have that here in Quebec too. Yeah, the Frenchies. Guitar stuff. I still want to understand 24-hour platform. If the price dives up or down, won't Robinhood have to adjust the prices to the real market? My guess is what Robinhood is probably doing is some sort of futures thing, where they're creating a futures market they can participate in all the time, and then the futures market will dictate the opening bell prices for things. I guess, I don't know, but stop it. Stop trying to do it. Make a 24-hour market a thing. Just stop. Mark Kilpatrick, you 3 holding that BB boy idea. Iggy Lamone, why couldn't the cattle rustler catch any of the cows he was trying to steal? He was willing to hoof it. Ooh, that's the worst one yet, Iggy. Dan Sanchez asked the Germans if they built a funny bot from South Park. Martin Weiss, have they built a funny bot from South Park? Oh, he wasn't willing to hoof it. Oh, well, you ruined your own joke. Belgian well, 300 years, do nothing, and you're BlackRock. Exactly. It's 300 years, kick back, relax, let your money play itself, and just rely upon your immortality to not have to, like, feed, house yourself, or do anything else. Don't worry, in 300 years, I got it made. Just kick back and relax. Meow Meow, regarding Elon's Mars mission, is it even possible to take all the water, oxygen, and food required to survive? One-way ticket, maybe. Yes-ish. You are going to have to make a system that's somewhat self-sustainable, and that system will probably be, you take a bunch of water. You're gonna have to have a bunch of water anyway, because you're going to have to line the ship with water. The whole ship's going to have to be basically an aquarium that people stand inside of in a bubble, because there's so much galactic cosmic rays. We're talking like titanium atoms flying at near the speed of light, just penetrating your DNA, giving you cancers and mutations and all sorts of crap. But if you've got a lot of hydrogen, such as found in water, you can actually stunt the passage of those materials. So you're going to carry a lot of water with you anyway, just to protect the cabin and crew from these galactic cosmic rays. They're going to try to, warp their DNA all day long. In that water, you're going to probably have a gray water system and a recycling system. You're going to pull out fresh water, recycle it through that. So you're going to be re-drinking a lot of your pee and poo. You're probably going to save the solids so that you can create soils back on Mars. So the food you eat, you're going to have to put back into soils with your poo. and turn into pea shoots and carrots and whatever else. We might have a better lab systems making more lab grown meat by then. So you get your chicken and beef and whatever grown in lab settings. Right now it's very expensive, but we've got the companies that are doing that right now. And because you can't use the soil on Mars because it's full of perchlorate. They'll go into your potatoes and it'll kill you. So you're going to have to like use your own poo as fertilizer and make dirt out of that, which means you have to bring along the worms and the bacteria and everything else, the potato bugs and all those guys that like eat that stuff up. So we're going to be introducing life to Mars, essentially. There's not just humans, but we're going to have microbial life that's going to get there. I don't know how to safely do that. I don't know how to responsibly do that, but there will be life on Mars when we're done. Whether the humans die, there'll still be like little worm creatures eating shit and doing everything else. To make the Martian soil arable, we're going to have to coat the entire surface of Mars with anaerobic bacteria. And that's going to take probably hundreds of years. But we dump anaerobic bacteria in the soil of Mars. On days it's warm enough, those anaerobic bacteria take the perchlorates and break them down to chlorides, and suddenly the soil isn't toxic anymore. But the soil is 1% perchlorate, and 24 parts per billion perchlorate will kill you. So there's a lot of perchlorate that has to be broken down to make the soil, so it's not just going to kill anybody who comes along. And that's going to take time and just so much bacteria. And it's so cold there, the bacteria is probably going to be frozen most of the time anyway, that it won't be able to actually like wake up and start eating those perchlorates. So it's basically a one-way ticket. Because it's going to be 6 months minimum to get there and 6 months back. So you need enough food for however large your crew is for 6 months. I mean, it's going to be a lot of dehydrated food and a lot of recycled water. And then when you get there, you're not going to have the dehydrated food because you need another 6 months of dehydrated food to get back, right? So you don't want to starve to death on the way back. It just seems like a waste of time, energy, and money. Go to the moon. It's 3 days away. We can pack for 3 days, no problem. It's really easy for us to set up lunar bases, primitive lunar bases. We can pack those suckers into rockets, ship them over there, plunk. We have technology to turn the rocks we find on the moon into aluminum and make aluminum structures, turn into glass and all sorts of building materials. Once we have energy, limitless energy coming from the helium-3 on the lunar surface, we can do all sorts of cool things. The one thing we won't have is plastics. Plastics will have to come from the Earth, and that's going to be a lot of it. So we're going to be importing plastic shit to the moon and to Mars and everything else. What's with the side eye? You were upset finding out that you weren't going to survive on Mars? What is with it? What's with the side eye? Huh? What's with the side eye? She's like, this man, his hatred for Mars. You're an Elon fan, aren't you? Yeah, just admit it. We know. We can see it in your side eye. Your disapproving side eye. The cat's not an Elon fan, though. He could never be. But yeah, Mars is just gonna be a shit show. There's so much to overcome to get it done. When we're talking, like Elon estimating 100 launches just to get the vessel constructed to get to Mars. That's a lot, especially for a ship that hasn't had an actual test yet, because you cannot count that shit show that happened last month in Texas as a test, because they just basically blew apart their pad and ruined any data that you could possibly get from it. So, and they're rebuilding the pad. Exactly the same except with metal shrapnel this time instead of concrete shrapnel. So, The Rougarou of Wall Street. What do you think about Jamie Dimon talking about banks being shorted? Will short selling be banned altogether? Thanks, Houston. Short selling, well, not Not short selling should be banned altogether, but naked short selling should be banned altogether. There should be no excuse for naked short selling of any kind, any way, any shape, any form. Just no naked short selling at all. But if you're going to ban short selling of banks, then you should ban short selling of everything. Simple as that. If you think a company is going to go down, buy puts. That should be your only way to bet against a company then. If you're just going to, because you should not make a special caveat for the banking industry that you aren't going to extend to any other business in America. You may as well just make a national bank at that point and be like, the United States government is now the bank. You're going to bank with the U.S. because you can't short. There's no stocks in the U.S. government. You can't short us. So, yeah, I don't doubt they're going to do it wrong and just ban shorting of banks rather than extending it to everyone else, though. Julianne, cats aren't people fans in general. True. Bat bones, dude. Man was put here by Jesus to make plastics, I think, but I'm pretty sure we are in the plastics age. People talk about, oh, we're in the information age. No, fuck that. We're in the plastics age. We were in the Stone Age, the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, and we are now in the plastics age. Plastic allows for everything we do. I mean, in this room I'm in right now, this cabinet has a plastic veneer on it. It's Formica. Same thing with the desk. These handles on my drawer here, plastic. The coating on these books, plastic. The sheet on my microscope, plastic. Most of the pieces of the microscope, plastic. All the pens in this jar, plastic. The computer I am looking at right now, plastic bezel, plastic stand, plastic coating on the wires, plastic surrounding the Ring camera and the camera that I'm looking into and the monkey cam, plastic surrounding the microphone that I've got here, plastic holding the microphone on with plastic little bungees, making sure that, you know, it doesn't have vibrations affect it too much. Plastic keyboard, plastic head, plastic paint, plastic buttons, plastic fan making noise, plastic vinyl window coverings, plastic little toy things behind me. Everything we do is plastic, and we're burning it all. We're burning all the oil that can make plastic and push us in the future. We just need to use plastic more responsibly, have a better way of recycling it, and not leaving it in the oceans where it's going to fill up all the fishies and then eventually fill us up as well with microplastics. But, yeah. Yeah, imagine a hospital without plastic. My brother, his original goal when he got his industrial engineering, he did industrial engineering, industrial technologies, and it was plastics, like form molding plastics. He was like, oh, I'm going to make a company that makes like plastic bags for IVs and tubes, and I'll be a gajillionaire because they make that, use it once, throw it away, gotta buy some more. That was the original plan from his college degree. It was like, I'm just going to become a plastic manufacturer. Okay, Bubba Gump. Denise 2635. Hey Houston. Hello, Denise. VRAM's AMC is here. All right. Well, I'm at the end. I made it to the bottom of the chat. It's 4:30. I gotta get running. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Stuff's happening. Next Sunday next week, the 21st, we're gonna have Rosa on at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Monkey, you have anything to add? You have a plastic neckerchief on, a plastic dog collar on. So, I don't know what else next week has in store for us. Crazy stuff is what's going to happen. So anyway, everybody have a great day. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. I might do a Twitch tonight. We'll see. If I do, it's going to be like 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be a late night Twitch. So I'll see a few of you for that. But until then, have a great time. And I'll see you on Monday.